Sup everyone, Cat Goblin or Martin here, and welcome back to another video. And yep, I decided to do another ranking video for Scooby Doo Night at 100 Frights yet again. Only this time, I'm going to be ranking all the monster tokens in the game from the worst to the best. Originally, I was going to upload this video on Halloween, but I didn't have enough time to come up with it. And already I had made 2 videos in October, with the first one being very long, so it's out during the holidays instead. And I also couldn't figure out if I just want to do the monster tokens, or add every single collectible such as the gum and soap boxes and even the inventions, but we'll just do the monster tokens. And I thought it would be neat to make another ranking video a year after the first one, which a lot of you guys seem to really enjoy, where I rank every room/part from the worst to the best. But back to the main topic, the monster tokens. There are 21 monster tokens scattered throughout the whole game for all 17 monsters and the 4 bosses. I'm basically going to be ranking them based on how challenging and interesting it is to obtain them, because yes, there are some that are really easy to get, while others can be fun, require perfect timing, and are straight up hard to find or figure out. Just so you know that this ranking is all opinion based, so if you think a token is better placed than another, then please comment down below. And so with the intro done, let's get straight into it. So in last place at number 21 is the Gargoyle's monster token. It does pain me to put his token here because the Gargoyle is a great enemy, one of my favorites, and he can be pretty tricky to take down when he's flying high in the air. But here's the thing, you can get his monster token the minute you start the game, by heading over to Mystic Playground. The token is on top of this scaffolding platform that can collapse when you stand on it. All you have to do is hop on this teeter-totter and run through the platforms to nab your token. Now, if you somehow fall, or are too slow, then you don't have to worry at all because the platforms raise back up. It does make me wish the Gargoyle's token could have been somewhere else, such as the graveyard, the dungeon, or even the balconies in Mystic Manor. But I do understand that it's here to serve as part of the game's tutorial and mechanics in the playground. Honestly though, after getting this token the first time I played the game, and reading on this hint here that there's more, I knew straight away that I was determined to collect them all. 20. The Werewolf's monster token. So yeah, this one's really easy to grab. It's literally in the first room of the hedge maze behind this gate, which can only be opened with the football helmet, which you get by going through the whole maze defenseless, and then once you climb on top of the hill you get the helmet, which you can then access this shortcut on the hill which takes you back to the start to grab the token. You do have some spiders and death pits in your way, and also the gate, but nothing too challenging. 19. The Headless Specter's monster token, which you can find in the very first room in Mystic Manor, and like the werewolf, you can't get it straight away, as it sits on the very top floor tucked in the corner landing, and you'll need the double jump springs to be able to cross the gap. It's a very easy one to get. I really like how you just keep climbing to the top, running past unstable floorboards and headless specters with a great soundtrack playing, until you reach the magic carpet that leads you to the token. Now yes, the werewolf's token does take a lot longer to get than the headless specters, but I think his is more fun and interesting to get in this one room. On top of that, you can't really see it when you first enter, although you can catch a glimpse of it if you jump or try to make it across the other side. And it does make you wonder what else the room hides. 18. The Black Knight's monster token. This one might be controversial to add above the last 3, because out of all of them you just take a couple steps to the left and it's right there. However, you do have to go through the whole of Mystic Manor solving puzzles and traversing, and then fight the Black Knight at the very end, which is a lot of work, especially on the rooftops and the attic where there are a lot of traps. So in a way, it's pretty much your reward for surviving the manor and beating the boss. 17. The Creeper's monster token, located in Panic in the Attic Part 2, and it's another one of those tokens where you can see it straight away, but you can't get it. Not until you're halfway through the game, when you have the suction cups that is, as the token is in this passage to the right on the slide and there are some webs in the way you gotta destroy first. Overall, easy token, and it does make great use of the suction cups combined with the football helmet, which you don't see too much in the game other than in this one room of the secret passages. One thing I will say about this room is that it's really creepy hearing the 2 witch doctors grunt on the other side, and saying that they saw me. I'll let you have a listen.
I can see you.
16. The Ghost Diver's Monster Token. His token is a very simple one to get, although you're going to need to have the umbrella in order to get it, and it lies at the end of the very last part of the fish factory by the exit, floating above in between these two silos full of fish, and you just use the umbrella to float up the fan. Now, if you go through here the regular way from part 3, you do have conveyor belts shaped in squares to parkour off, or you could simply warp here with the warp gate, which is a lot quicker and easier. I placed the Ghost Diver's token here mainly because it requires the umbrella, which you can only get when you're over a little halfway through the game, and you can actually grab his token right away by climbing on the wall next to the left silo. 15. The Witch's Monster Token. Another token you can see straight away but you can't get, and this time we're going to need the galoshes to cross the tar and jump the gap. There's a few more gaps to jump and the token is just straight ahead, next to these two spiders, and when you get close to it, this giant thorn ball at the back will roll towards you, so you gotta outrun it like Indiana Jones, and I just love the cool soundtrack that plays. It's a fairly easy token with a clever trap at the end. Some fun facts about this room is that the thorn ball will always respawn, and after it falls into the pit, it will play the creepy music from Clamor in the Manor Part 2, so that's pretty interesting. Galloping its way in at number 14 is the Ghost of Geronimo's Monster Token. It may be an easy token, but it's a pretty fun one to collect. The token is hovering on the ceiling in Mind Your Manners Part 2, and you make your way towards the top by collecting keys at the start with a creeper, going through paintings of the Mastermind, and defeating a bunch of enemies in your path. Once you're up on the top floor, you can pull in this curtain rope, which lowers these chandeliers, which you can use to swing across towards the token. It may not have any obstacles where your other inventions could be used, but I think it makes for a great reward in this obstacle course-like room. And hey, I like a token you can get straight away too. 13. The Ghost of Captain Redbeard's Monster Token. One of the many tokens that requires you to use an enemy's height to be able to reach it. And out of those tokens, this one is at the bottom, mainly because it's just too easy and the room that it's in is really close to the start with no real threats. The token is up on this ledge in this room where you grab on the switch to open the next door, and as you can see, there's a witch up here for you to use as leverage. Now the game probably intends for you to use the gum or soap bubbles to reach the token, which is a lot easier, but using a super slam works just as well too. Coming in at number 12 is the Green Ghost Monster Token. The token sits on this little ledge in Misbehaving Cause a Cave in Part 1, and you walk along the rocky path to get close to it. What I really like about the token is that you have to use the Gargoyle flying around as leverage to reach it, which is really cool. When the Gargoyle flies, he moves up and down, and you have to wait for him to be at the right height in order to use soap bubbles or a good old super slam. It's a really creative way to get a token, waiting for a flying enemy to be just in the right spot, and you can always use the Black Knight's armor or the Lampshade invention to wait for him to be lined up if he spots you. 11. The Mastermind's Monster Token. Okay, so the Mastermind's token is the same idea as the Green Ghost and Captain Redbeard's token, where you need to use an enemy's height. It's at the very top room in Little Lab of Horrors Part 3. You make your way up by ground pounding buttons while dodging electricity currents from these machines and riding on a white table. Once you make it to the very top, you'll see the token, and you just wait for the space kook to be close to the token, trap him in a bubble, and then the token is yours. The good thing about this token is that even if you do take out the space kook without getting the token, then there's no need to fret because he will always keep respawning, so you won't have to keep entering and exiting the part. Plus, the little challenge at the start with all the obstacles puts this token above the last two. 10. The Witch Doctor's Monster Token. So we find ourselves back in Mystic Manor's private library, and it holds a couple of secrets such as the hidden doors which you can open with a curtain rope. Alright then, so let me just pop upstairs for a minute to grab a cup of coffee, and yep, the stairs fold into a slide, and you're going to need the suction cups. Now that we do have the suction cups, we can walk up top and along this corridor until you reach the middle part of the room, and if you bash this railing, you can see the token on the other side in a different little room. And then we can swing off chandeliers whilst dodging a ghost and a couple of bats, and the token is ours. A pretty cool way to get the token, and the secret room does lead you to the room with the creeper where the exit is. Now, as a kid, I found a way to get this token immediately upon entering the room, and it's by climbing onto the bookshelf where this treasure chest is. Or if you're really good, you can bounce at the very end of the trampoline close to the stairs and reach the top just before the stairs fold. I like how you can't see the token at all until you climb to the top, which does make you wonder what else this room hides. 9. The Tar Monster's Monster Token. It's found in the fish factory, just like the Ghost Diver's token, only this time it's at the very beginning of the factory, and it's pretty well hidden up until you get to the very end, where if you push this button at the bottom, it activates this pulley platform to rise when you land on it, as well as this fan, and you can only reach it with the umbrella. You'll find the token up in the secret top room with a couple snacks, and the Tar Monster himself is guarding his own token, which I always thought was pretty neat. I placed this one higher than the last few because you do have to go through all of those conveyor belts which move really fast just to push this button, and you do need the umbrella to fly towards the platform, but you can also jump towards it if you jump on the very edge of this conveyor here. 8. The Ghost of Captain Moody's Monster Token. This is another one of those tokens where we need to use an enemy's height once again. What makes this one better than the last ones is that the room that it's in is a little bit challenging to traverse, and one wrong jump or taking damage from the flying fish can send you falling all the way back down or into the water. Once you do manage to make it to the top, you can use the Ghost Diver over here to reach the token, and before I used to find it kinda difficult to reach it with a Super Slam, because it is pretty high and the door frame does get in the way sometimes. It's a great token in a tricky room, and I just love how climbing on a ship that's facing upwards makes for a solid level with a token. 7. The Sea Creature's Monster Token. Ah yes, the Sea Creature, or also known as the Heap of the Deep, is probably one of the creepiest enemies in this game, and her token does require a bit of a small challenge. If you break this barrel of fish close to the end of the stone walkway, you'll find a pressure switch, and grab pounding it brings the fishing net closer, which you can reach with the flying fish. Swing off that and you can make it to these sinking rowboats, and once you hop along those, you'll find the token on top of the small motorboat. Similar to Captain Moody's token, the water is the biggest threat here, but if you're careful then it's not too bad. And you can even use this Caveman here at the middle to damage boost yourself to nab the token straight away, defeating all sense of challenge. 6. The Caveman's Monster Token. His token is actually in the room just before the Sea Creature's token, and I gotta say, this one is probably one of the most unique tokens to get because it's in the room with the huge slamming crates that can crush you. And just like with the last one, you can find a hidden switch under a barrel of fish, and once activated, it stops the crates from slamming, and then once you go back to where the witch was sleeping by the exit, a life preserver will drop down which lets you reach the top of the crates where you'll find the token. Now, it's definitely a lot easier to access this room through the beginning rather than at the end, so you don't have to deal with those crates, but the next room does have the warp gate for fast travel and the Sea Creature's token. Something I also tried was seeing if you can get to the token while the crates are still slamming, and it is doable. When you reach the end, just stand on top of the wooden porch of the boathouse, and when the crate drops, jump on top of it. The drawback with this is that when the crates lift up, Scooby doesn't move up with the crate, meaning the bottom of the crate will always hit you for an instant death, so you'll have to jump with the crate to avoid dying. I'll show you the footage now. Zombie's Monster Token. This token is actually very simple to get, but when I first played the game it kinda threw me off. Like, how on earth are you supposed to get it? The token is in a tight spot for a great plot part too, and it's inside this little cage up on this tower with no obvious way to get it. Now, when my parents and I first played the game, we noticed how the cage has this small hole that looks just big enough for Scooby to fit through, but it turns out he can't fit at all. I was thinking of ways to get it until I fell off the left side and quickly jumped into the cage grabbing the token. Not gonna lie, his token is pretty satisfying to get, and once you figure it out, it's pretty easy. And I just love how the hole in the cage can just throw you off. 4. The Space Kook's Monster Token. Another really well hidden token, and you can find it in Who's the Yell in the Cellar Part 1, through the secret room which you can find the entrance to through this long hallway filled with ghosts in Part 3. To get this token, you're going to need the Soap Bubbles invention, which just so happens to be in the cellar as well, and once you come back here, trap that ghost in a bubble to press the button on the wall, and boom, the wine wax slides revealing the token and the starting room with the Space Kook. I find that this token could easily be forgotten, especially if you haven't discovered this room or don't know how the soap invention works because you skim through all the text really fast. But I did figure it out by walking around in the Black Knight's armor and pressing the trigger. And the button on the wall can throw you off. In case you're wondering, you can actually push this button without the soap by climbing on the wall and charging with the helmet. 3. The Funland Robots Monster Token. I put Charlie's token at number 3 because once you see it, it does make you question how to get it, and unlike the zombie where the solution is just very well hidden, it doesn't really have one. It's in the second part of the secret lab, and there's 2 ways that I would go around to collecting it. Now the first way, you can go to the top with all the white platforms raised, and you can glide towards the back with the umbrella to nab it. Or you can jump on these flexible electrical conduits hooked to these panels to get an extra jump, which is how I collected this token as a kid. A Scooby Doo Night 100 Frights YouTuber named Mortal had a segment on this room in his useless facts video, which I'll link in the description, and he states that the 2 Funland robots that walk into the corners of this open room are originally supposed to patrol along the catwalk, but the developers put them really close towards the edge, making them fall. These 2 robots would be what you can use as height to grab the token, and you can actually still do it in the game. Enter and re-enter the part through the door to part 3, and as soon as the game loads in, head left to lure the Funland robot, and then you can get the token as you see fit through the intended way. I will say that the Funland robots do have trouble fitting up here, and once they fall, you can't lure them back up here because they don't have the best sight when you're standing on the railings or on the ramp. I decided to talk about the 2 best tokens together because getting them is the same, and those are the Ghost at number 2 and the Scarecrow at number 1. Yes, these 2 are stupid easy to get after the first playthrough, but you see, if you're not paying careful attention, you can very easily miss these 2 tokens the first time you play the game. The 2 rooms in the cemetery where the tokens are make use of mausoleums that open when you get close to them, and some of them do have zombies hiding inside with the back of the tomb being a black silhouette. But for these 2 tokens, the back is a breakable wall or door leading to secret rooms, and how I found these tokens as a kid on my first ever playthrough with my parents was by pressing the B button again after we killed the zombie. Because as a kid, I always found the zombie to be the most terrifying enemy in the game, because he pops out of bushes and stuff, and I wanted to make sure he was gone for good, and this caused my parents and I to accidentally stumble upon these hidden tokens. The Ghost is probably the easiest one to find since it's the only one with a different colored back wall, and these Scooby snacks make an arrow shape in front of it, already giving it away. The Scarecrow's token in the first mausoleum could easily be unnoticed since it's the first one, but after you see the other tombs, you'll see the back wall looks just like the tomb's door. I really like it when the tokens are really well hidden in a small part, and it just takes your observation skills to find them, rather than using an invention you need to get until later. And with that, those are all the monster tokens in Scooby Doo Night 100 Frights, ranked from worst to best. And you know what, for a short little video during the holidays, I think this one turned out alright. I was thinking maybe in the future I'll do a ranking where I can include every single collectible together with the tokens. The monster tokens are pretty much the main collectible in the game, and I always find it so satisfying collecting them all, and then going to the monster gallery just to see what they can unlock. Many of these tokens are found not far apart from each other, with 2 being in the same area most of the time, and by the mystery machine you even got 3 really close by. The top 5 or 10 tokens are definitely the best ones to collect, especially the ones that are really well hidden and you can't even see them until you do some more exploring. The mini-kits in the LEGO games are pretty satisfying to collect too, but they make a sound that gives them away, making them way too easy, and I prefer it when your collectible is a little bit tricky to find. The tokens that straight up throw you off, like the zombies and Funland robots tokens, are great. Honestly though, despite the ranking, I love all the tokens in the game equally, and it took me a while to figure out which ones go where, as I was constantly changing my list. I wanted to put the most interesting and fun ones above the simple ones. Anyways, hope you all enjoyed the video and had a good Christmas. Please like and subscribe, and let me know which one of these tokens is the most satisfying to collect. 2026 is just around the corner, and I have some more good ideas cooking up. So I'll see you all in the next one. Goodbye and have a happy holiday and new year.